Leah had delicate eyes. It says, but Rachel was beautiful of form and appearance. And there's a contrast that's being made here between Leah and Rachel. And that's really the point. Rachel, in contrast to Leah, whatever the deal was with Leah's eyes, Rachel, in contrast to Leah, was beautiful in form and appearance. If you're taking notes, the Hebrew for beautiful in form and appearance is hubba, hubba, right? I mean, that's what it means here. She's beautiful to look at. Verse 18 says, now Jacob, he loved Rachel. He's living there for a month with the family. He falls in love with Rachel. And now his uncle Laban says, hey, I'll pay you whatever you want. I don't want you to leave. Name your price. And so he says, I will serve you for 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. Now, there are several qualities about Jacob's character that really stand out in this passage that we want to note here. And I would say, too, especially if you're a single person here today, or a single person watching online, if you are a single guy, these are qualities you should want to possess. Right? If you want to marry the right person, you've got to be the right person. If you're a single girl, these are qualities you want to look for in a potential spouse. Because Jacob is quite the suitor here. And so, first of all, Jacob is following God. That's the most important quality he possesses. And that's the most important quality to look for in a potential spouse. That's the most important quality to possess if you want to be married. Be a follower of Jesus Christ. Be a follower of Jesus Christ. Be a believer in Jesus Christ. Surrender your life to Jesus Christ. Be serious about following Jesus Christ and putting Christ first in your life. Again, that's what you want to look for in a potential spouse. That's the kind of spouse you want to be. That's the kind of guy you want to be. Jacob is a follower of God. He obeyed God. He is walking by faith, trusting the promises of God. It's dictating the course of his life. And so that's the first quality we want to note here about Jacob. The second quality that stands out about Jacob in this story is the way that he served Rachel. Really, even before their relationship began, when Rachel came to the well back in verse 11, Jacob jumped into action, watered Laban's flock. Again, watering a flock required a lot of work and a lot of time. And that one act speaks volumes about Jacob's character. That he would do that. None of those other shepherds got up to help her. He's not the only guy there at the well. But that one act of getting up, moving the stone, and taking all the time and energy to water her flock before he even introduces himself, that speaks volumes about Jacob's character. The way he seized that opportunity to serve Rachel. Without anyone asking him to do it and without anyone telling him to do it, he just did it. Man, that's great. It's great to see that in a young man. Jesus came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life for others. And Jacob exhibited that same quality. The third quality that is noteworthy about Jacob is that he pitched in and helped out while staying at Laban's house as a guest. He's a guest in Laban's home. Again, that says a lot about his character. That says a lot about his work ethic. There are some young men who still live at home that aren't willing to help out around the house at all. They don't lift a finger, and they expect their parents to just kind of wait on them hand and foot. Jacob was so helpful to Laban that Laban offered him a job. Jacob was a hard worker. He was an asset and not a liability to his family. And that's the kind of young man you want to be if you're a single young man, even if you're not a single young man. That's the kind of man you want to be. If you're a single young woman, that's the kind of guy you want to look for. Hardworking guy, not a lazy guy. Hardworking guy. And verse 16, again, if you're single guy, I'm really gonna poke you on this one a little bit. Verse 16, Jacob clearly communicates his intention to marry Rachel. He clearly communicates his intention to Rachel, and he communicates his intention to Rachel's father. Well, that's old-fashioned, isn't it? He communicates his intention to Rachel's father. So what does that mean? That means that Rachel knows where this relationship is going. And she has a very clearly defined timeline of when they will be married. And Jacob's only been there a month. He's only been there a month, and he is already communicating his intentions to Rachel's father. There are some women who date a guy for a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, and nothing is defined in the relationship. And she doesn't know where the relationship is going. She doesn't know his intentions. Forget about a timeline. Shouldn't do that. If you're a single guy dating a girl, clearly communicate to her your intentions. Clearly communicate your intentions to marry her, and speak to her father about your intentions. And give her a timeline. And don't let your timeline be 7 years. My wife would say, if you're a single guy, you need a plan. And you need to work that plan. Jacob's got a plan. And he's working a plan. The plan's going to take 7 years just because of those circumstances. But he's got a plan. And he's working a plan so that he can marry this girl. And again, if you're a young man, that's the kind of man you want to be. Make your intentions clear. Don't be indecisive. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't make it clear. Communicate what your intentions are. Have a timeline of when you will marry. Have a plan so that you can get married. And listen. Getting married and living in your parents' basement is not a plan. You laugh. I'm a pastor. I've had those conversations. Getting married and not having a plan of what you're going to do for a living to provide for your family, not a plan. You need to get a plan, you need to work a plan. And if you're a girl and your guy ain't got a plan, and he's not giving you a plan, he's not working a plan, you need to move on. You need to move on. Because you need a guy who's got a plan and knows where he's going and know how he's going to get you there. He's got a plan. He's working a plan. You know where the relationship is going. You know the timeline you're on. You know this is when we're going to get married. And he's the one telling her, this is what the plan is. This is what I'm going to do to provide for us. This is when we can get married. This is when we can become husband and wife. This is where we're going to live. This is the, okay? It's not my parents' basement. We're going to get a little apartment. He's got a plan.